Hello, hello, hello. Whoa, almost fell. Hi, everybody. Welcome to my channel. I'm Mary Ann. Thank you very much for coming in today, or for taking the time to stop in. I'm going to make a couple of little statements here, and then I'll go right in with the readings, because it is May 31st, the very last day of the month. And I normally would have been through with all of my readings way before this. But this month has been very difficult, and technology-wise has not allowed me to do my normal format, my normal timing, none of the above. I understand it to be, for myself, the full, deep impact of Mercury retrograde, which happens, it does affect technology, it does affect communication. So of course I'm still tripping over words, and sometimes there isn't that synapses in my brain that, connects things as well as I'd like still. However, I felt a real desire to do my best to try to upload the last two, which is today's featured sign of Aquarius, beautiful air, mind, intelligent, creative, very, very interested in large movements and connections of people. And I always use the term, nonprofit organizations just get things going for the world, for the world at large, in other words. Okay, so the main thing that I love about Aquarius, the sign of the star represents them in the tarot, and the fact that there is a vessel that's being held by a woman, and I always thought of it as water. And I know that, being an Aquarius, you're not a water sign, you're an air sign, but actually it isn't water, it's knowledge, it's information that's being shared and spread throughout anywhere that an Aquarius can spread it, because they're very friendly and very sociable, and they want to be heard, and they're very much about leadership, but on a very large scale, as far as, the world, So that's what I'm reading for today. And then the last sign will be Pisces. Beautiful, beautiful Pisces. The 12th sign. So I'll do my best, okay? And then tomorrow starts June, the 6th month. All sorts of wonderful, beautiful energies coming in June. And I will go back to my normal, I don't know if I can say normal, but format of at least one reading per day per sign, as I intermingle it with my, my regular practice that I do as a massage therapist. So yeah, let me just say that this month, and whenever you watch this, is actually great. And I feel that way about every single month and all the readings I do. There's not a real, for me, and I hope that you can relate to this, especially if you've been watching me for any amount of time, or, watch the spiritual channels, or, the ideas of astrology and tarot and the divinations and the messages that come through. It's divine timing. It's not linear. It's not like we're used to as humans, it should be, it says, May, so it should be at the beginning or middle, or that doesn't necessarily hold true with spiritual, beliefs, I guess, or, systems. So I feel good about that, because your message is coming to you exactly when you're supposed to see it. And it reassures me, especially during Mercury retrograde times. But I would say that the Mercury retrograde has been in the sign of Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury. So I would imagine both Virgo and Gemini, ruled by Mercury signs, would have been mostly affected, if we're going to go on a scale from 10 to 1 and so forth. Then I would say the other fellow air signs, being yourself, Aquarius, and Libras, because it's that air energy, and it's the information that's being held up, or, stifled, or blocked, or, stopped for one reason or another. And I'll tell you, that's what happened. That's exactly what's happened. It happened the second that the shadow period started, because there's always the shadow period before retrograde and after. And I sit patiently and think, okay, and I get out my log and I write down what's happened every month. And I will say that this month, a lot of my clients have said they really, really noticed it. So Oh, I can tell you right off the bat, though, the ones in particular were Aries. So going back a little bit as far as the astrology and what's happened more powerful than a lot of other months is we had the beautiful transference of Jupiter from Pisces go into Aries. The fiery, ambitious cardinal, powerful ram, straightforward, let's make it happen energy of Aries. The day that Mercury retrograde actually went back or stationed retrograde, which was the 10th of May. Then we had the incredibly strong, and it's still being felt. I feel it. It's just this energy you feel from eclipses. They are there to change us, to motivate us, to bring things in, take things out. It can be instant. It can take months. These effects from the eclipses can last upwards of 6 months and longer. And it was on the 15th or 16th, depending where you were in the world, the beautiful super blood moon that you could see from even certain areas around in North America, which was phenomenal. And I caught a little glimpse of it. And that was on the 15th or 16th in Scorpio. Now, they run in pairs, so we had the solar partial eclipse on the 30th of April, and then 2 weeks later, they usually run, 2 weeks apart. That was in Taurus. This was about grounding, practical, stable, Venus ruled. So about money and love and relationships and magic and beautification and, wanting to redo yourself inward or outwardly and certainly the relationships of all forms. So that's still with us, even if it's the last day of the month. And then yesterday we had this beautiful new moon in Gemini. And we are in Gemini season. And Gemini retrograde will end, like I said, on June 3rd. If I didn't say it, forgive me. Which is this Saturday. No, it's this Friday. And that'll be a little wonky, so it takes a week or so for the dust to settle, as it were, and get the momentum back. Because Mercury is the fastest moving planet. And I know that you're going to already start to see it even before the end, but it's best just to hold off if you can from going forward with the plans that I know a lot of you beautiful Aquarians have been having in your mind during this time. That's exactly what retrogrades are about. And I feel like you're extremely, absolutely motivated. I think a lot of us are getting this momentum and this energy that we feel from the beautiful impact of Jupiter, the expansive planet in the sign of Aries, the number one sign, represents the beginning of the astrological, calendar. And no holds barred when it comes to Aries. You know that energy and it feels beautiful. You want to be around that. And I know for myself, I've had the ups and downs. I had my surgery I've talked about before. I've come through very, very well with that. It's still healing though, right? I mean, it's a process. And so, Aquarius, I think there's some phenomenally beautiful energies that are coming from this truth, transformational releasing of the scorpionic energy for all of us. Now, Pluto rules the sign of Scorpio more modernly. It was Mars. So there's an intensity there. There's a desire, and there's a deep internalizing that happens with Scorpios. There's no mistaking it. They have this mysterious kind of what's really going on, because a lot of them are very, very out front. You know whether they're, what kind of mood they're in. They're not one to, be phony, I would say. A lot of them are very, very authentic in their feelings, and sometimes it's almost alarming because you're like, whoa, okay. But having said all that, my format, as usual, and will continue for a while. It could probably change. I've had ideas, I really have, about just showing my hands. I'm thinking of going that way. They're not model hands, but I kind of like the idea of that. I may do that. I'd love you to let me know if you think that's something that's good. Or maybe I'll just do it and then you can respond. But let's get on to your reading, because the first thing I'd like to do is have the spiritually guided, beautiful love connection that's important and has been for you this month of May. Now you're saying, well, shoot, now you tell me. I love it. Let's see if it's accurate. Let's see how this resonates, because sometimes my readings are going to resonate with you spot on from what I'm understanding in the comments I get. And other times it's like, not so much. Or you might want to watch for sure your moon, your rising, and even your Venus placements to get that absolute full holistic realization of who you really are, which is way more than your sun. But of course the sun is essential. It's our first house. It's us. It's our personality and what we love and what we bring into our dreams and desires, and you know how we go about getting them and who we connect with in life is huge. So for you beautiful Aquarians, I've dropped the dice. Here it is. Forgive me. I love my new mic that I can just kind of move around and not worry about it pulling and changing the camera. For you, beautiful, beautiful Aquarians. I like doing this right in front of you. Spirit wants it to be as authentic as possible. And your love connection is that of Virgo. Okay, well that's pretty cool. I like that a lot. There's something to be, well, first of all, Virgo is once again Mercury ruled. So information that you have been waiting on a more practical side of your life, you know, with a more practical person who's grounding you and saying, look, let's really think about this. Let's not be too impulsive. Now, mind you, we have Saturn in your sign, Aquarius. It's been there since last year and will remain through, I want to say May of next, could be April, I apologize, of next year. Saturn is the taskmaster. Saturn is the planet of time and worth and value and constriction and, you know, conformity. Something you're not particularly fond of, Aquarians. You're just not. You're freedom-seeking souls. You like to have things your way. You are a fixed sign. And Virgo is an incredibly intelligent sign, though. So there's this, and they're mutable. So they're open to things which you like, and they have a a staying power that's appealing to you. Certainly in relationships, but also with concrete, let's say, investments or job opportunities. I know enough Aquarians to know that yes, you're willing to try different things in your life. Of course, you're all about the transformation and this energy that's coming through for all of us through the Scorpio eclipses, which by the way will be in Taurus and Scorpio also through next May, I believe, of 2023. So huge truths, huge changes, you know, out of the box thinking like you do. You're ruled by Uranus. That's the planet of unpredictability and surprises, like eclipses. The spontaneity is like, bam, there it is, you know? And the calm and the collected and the regimented energy of Virgo is something that probably will really feel very comforting and welcoming to you. So if you're not with a Virgo, and it's not unheard of, I've known many, many couples as I've studied the compatibility of astrology and the different signs for many, many years. It could be somebody that's coming in that's going to make you just feel more stabilized, certainly after this Mercury retrograde. Trust me on that, okay? And what else can I say? It is, there's a sense of service with Virgos. They're known for their, you know, their incredible devotion to what they do in their work and their environments, you know, whatever it may be, their homes, their you know, their offices. They are definitely true blue, hardworking, until it's done right kind of attitude people. So this is a very nice, beautiful energy. And once again, it's a calming, more somber, for lack of a better word to think of right now, that I think is going to be very much important to you, as I mentioned. We shall see what the cards have to reveal as well, and see if that comes around, which it has many, many times in my readings. It's a beautiful thing when spirit works together and the synchronicities are all very well played out in front of you, because it's all done in this real time. So anyway, let's remember that. And the last thing I'll say about it is the Virgo season is the 22nd of August, 21st, through the 22nd of September. And I know for a fact, as I mentioned, Now I'm a little embarrassed because I'm thinking, do I know for a fact? Mercury retrograde is still playing games with me, but I wanted to say that Saturn will be going in retrograde. I feel like it's at the end of August, because once Mercury retrograde goes direct this weekend, we are free flowing as far as any, real huge personal planets that will affect us in retrograde again. And one of them will be another Mercury retrograde at the end of August. So I know this to be true. During the season of Virgo. So there's something important happening, if not right now, with a connection of energy about Virgo, a relationship you have and very well aware of, one that is still coming through with this Mercury retrograde. It still brings people in at the tail end. And that's not unheard of with these beautiful eclipses either. Because the 8th house represents the scorpionic energy. That is the last beautiful full moon eclipse we had. And that's sensuality, that's sexuality, that's other people's, circumstances with money or taxes or inheritances. It's how that plays a big role right now in your life and will be brought to your attention. These are all meant to guide us and school us and teach us and to help us in our lives. So what I'd like to do next is now the 4-week during the month of May. And now this is where you can look in retrospect and think, oh, very, very true, Marianne. Or not yet, maybe. Because things can go actually past May, and I will be back for the June readings. It just works that way. Sometimes these things have already happened. It's kind of phenomenal. I find that myself when I'm watching other readers. I've already had that happen. That's just how it works with some people. They're ahead of the game, as you will. Their energies are just picking up on things that others don't for reasons that can go on and on, we can express and talk about. But I want to get to this because I'm using this incredibly beautiful deck, which I will change starting in June, of the Light Seers Tarot. One of the best decks I've ever had, and I love all of my decks, and I will continue to get them. But I love it if you're interested and you want to know. I think you'll love it as well. The illustrations are beautiful too. So the first week of May coming into it, and that's when that was obviously the Mercury retrograde, and then of course this huge transformation of Jupiter and Aries being very predominant, the eclipses. It's been a very, gosh, what are the words? I mean, it's so influential and so powerful and so changeable. And what did you have? You came into May, the 5th month, with the Fool. And it doesn't surprise me about you, Aquarius, because I do want to say, and I know there's different, variables for everything that I'm speaking of, but in my personal experience, and I've met a lot of people in my life, I truly have, and especially with readings and the things that I do for a living, is Aquarians just want to really just think the best. They want to really see the big picture, and even if it's not great happening at that moment, they see, they represent the star, they see what they choose to see and what they will continue to focus on and believe and accomplish, okay? This is a beautiful trait. And the Fool has that tendency. It's just like, okay, I'm going to go into this month knowing I'm not 100% sure how these energies of the moon and the various, planets I've already spoke about are really going to affect me, but I'm determined to go with it and to have fun in the process. End of story. And hopefully you've been able to go on vacations and had great Mother's Days if you're mothers, and all the variables that came in as well that were beautiful. And the weather, and just, there's a lot of things that can be very hard to deal with in life. So focusing on the things that are right there, that are free and, so helpful for our heart spaces to open that up and to, interact with people and laugh and share times. That's the Fool energy. And that's what you've done. You're willing to just believe and say, I don't know 100%, but I'm going to put out my belief systems, and I'm going to put the energy that all is well. And I trust in the process. That's gorgeous. What am I seeing here? Just a beautiful pattern, just let me little other details. Usually there's a dog that's nipping, but I'm seeing something in the hand and I'm not 100% sure. but it's really pretty. It's almost like a chalice. Let me hold this up to you and see, and without it hopefully getting blurry. I'm not sure how my camera works that way. It's like the connection between, you know, spirit and source and yourself in your hand. It's just that it's always there. It's always a part of our lives, whether we're aware or care or any of those things. It's absolutely happening. The mysteries, the mystical aspects of life, very much a part of what is always happening. Second week would have been when we're approaching that 15th or 16th. So yeah, just past the second week mark of the eclipses. And we were still actually feeling the solar, and that's the new and the beginnings, right? And the dreams and the intentions and the inspirations. And you have the Six of Cups. Well, there you go. This is the sentimentality. This is the heart, as I mentioned. This is just wanting to be with the familiar, the people, our family, our animals, you know, being content with what is. And maybe even just, well, you know, Scorpios can be very introspective and also very outgoing. I mean, I've known many actors and, you know, performers and, you know, teachers, a lot of teachers, because they're very knowledgeable and they want to share the ability to transform in any way possible to others. Hence, that's the big reason that they, you know, are known as that archetype of transformation. They've done it many, many lifetimes and they have it down. So it's always nice to hear their intellect in the way that they can express it. But a lot of times they're very much content being at home, doing things behind the scenes. They don't need to be, they feel very, very much. So they're very in tune. And the cups, of course, are the water. They're the emotions in all of us. And the Scorpios, the Cancers, the Pisces, many of them are empathic. Many of them feel almost too much. So they need the downtime. They need to be away from it all. Just refuel their energy, for lack of a better way of describing it. But a lot of that happens when they're just in the company of the people that they love. And they're extremely content with that. And I feel like that happened to you. Perhaps you had, you know, you're around your children. You had a little mini vacation, because they've been gone away. And I know for a fact my sister's an empty nester now, so she is still acclimating to that. And at the same time, she's able to see her children. Oh yeah, they came back from some kind of break because they're, you know, in college now. And I remember her discussing that with me. So that's exactly what that's about. Perhaps you can totally relate to that in the second week. And, you know, just really remembering and feeling very, very sentimental about the life that you've had and the people involved in it is what I feel from the Six of Cups too. Sometimes people come back into your life, as I mentioned, people you may not have expected, friends, you know, siblings, just, you know, just you don't want to always go into the past, but it is who we are a lot of times. It's what brought us to where we are, and you can always think about things hopefully in a beautiful light and then keep it moving for the new memories. But that's what it's saying. That's what it's expressing to me through these messages. And the third week is the Hierophant. Ooh, okay. Well, look at this beautiful interpretation of the Hierophant. Well, the Hierophant is a teacher. They're inward, or our own, you know, inner guru, if you will, our own intuition, our guidance. It's about lessons, you know, lessons learned, you know, the steps that lead us to our highest place, whether that's, you know, our crown connecting to source. It's about religious, you know, possibility, beliefs and philosophies that come into play and that we're sitting with and we're, you know, maybe rethinking, changing our belief systems. It's about, you know, sanctions and the right path. How do you express that? The rite of passage, for example, in ceremonious ways like marriages or engagements. There may have been weddings that you attended, or you're just very much in tune with this teacher, this this guide that you are, perhaps, that you want to be, and to illustrate that and demonstrate that in some form or capacity. And I also feel that powerful energy of Jupiter in Aries really igniting that in you and saying, I want to speak my truth, be who I choose to be, regardless of people's opinions. Okay, that's essential. And you're being taught that, and you're probably wanting to teach others at the same time, knowing who you are, Aquarius, and how very articulate a lot of times you can be. So that's a major arcana as well as the Fool. So you've got two major arcanas for the month of May, and that's about Spirit and Source wanting you to really understand these messages and how important they are for you moving forward. And the final week was this past week, and then the new moon for new beginnings. And I hope you were able to write down, and you still can, of course, your deepest intentions and what you'd like to see happening in the next month and onward, okay, with the new moon's influence. Now the eclipses, the moons, are far more powerful, and they're like steroids, the moon on steroids, as they say, so they can last 6 months and longer. But this new moon yesterday in the sign of Gemini, the third house of communication and neighbors and connection, and all this is just, summer's coming this month of June, right? And it's just this natural progression to want to get out more and enjoy ourselves and find that balance, you know, and work in our relationships in all forms, you know, because there's so many different types. That's why I say love of all forms with my love connections. So in finalizing this final week for you, you have the Two of Cups, and it is that partnership. And what's very interesting too, which I didn't say, is that because Jupiter's in Aries, it's directly across from its, you know, polar opposite sign of Libra. So Libra's all Venus ruled, and Libra is all about love and relationships and partnerships of all kinds, and working through everything so that there's harmony and peace and fairness and justice. It's and also an air sign, so I think it's really being brought to the forefront. I don't know if it's someone new for you. I can't say. I don't see your personal chart, but it shows a real sense of harmony, and it's just, I think we all strive for that in life. I really do, regardless of whether people want to admit it and they're fine alone. I'm not saying you can't be. I've been that way for years. I still love the idea of connecting with others, and of course I am a Libra, so naturally I would, and it's just in my DNA. But what a beautiful way to end this month, going into June, a beautiful, beautiful 6th month, which is also the sign and the number of Venus. So I think you might be surprised at how even a relationship you may have been in for years is turning another corner, you know, and you're feeling really vital and sensual and just excited again, you know, and there's this mutual admiration for each other. And you can't go wrong with that. Life just looks better. It feels better. And with Mercury retrograde going forward, and I can't enunciate that enough because it's really affected me this time, all is well, and this too shall pass for anything that's maybe not been its best, you know. There's going to be a better sense of communicating whatever it is you need to in the month and months ahead, I would say. So congratulations on that. Phenomenal reading. You've got definite amount of cups with the 6 and the 2, and when you add 2 and 6 together, that's 8. The 8 of Cups is just going away from things that no longer serve you. They're just like you're moving into a much better place mentally, physically, and, you know, spiritually. And fantastic. So I'm going to now read your beautiful oracle message, which I love because oracle messages are there to uplift us and to share with us the wisdom that's there for all of us to partake in, you know. We are all connected. And it's the beautiful wisdom of the hidden realms. And I will change all of these, you know, decks, as I always do for June. But for your special message, Aquarius, this one was upside down in there and facing, must have been the last one I did. For you, Aquarius, is the Well Watcher. Wisdom, power of the divine, number 7. That's a spiritual number too. Very angelic. The well watchers, wisdom, power of the divine. Well, I mean, we're incredibly powerful, but together, and it could be your connection with spirit. It doesn't have to be a person. I love that that's just made me realize, of course, having that connection that's eternal and infinite is such a great recognition sometimes when you go, wow, I am one with God. I am one with the universe. Anything you choose to believe or whatever expressions you use, it is exactly that. And then some. So let me read to you what it says, if I may, and we'll finish with a rune. Just kind of like the cherry on the icing, if you will, or cherry on the sundae. 7. Okay. The well watcher signals the need to go within, to contemplate the true source of the power in the world. And that's that incredible scorpionic energy, once again, that internalizing and that the depth of our feelings, the deepest reserve, you know, and then transforming it and recognizing it and facing it and being truthful and allowing that to lead us in the most powerful, positive ways. So, yeah, to contemplate the true source of power in the world, which he reminds you, it is that of the divine. This is a message to let you know that you're being called to the well, and this unseen power will be there and will be yours to align with. The affirmation and prayer will invite the divine to bring miracles and resolution to your life. Isn't that phenomenal? It does. It always does. Thy will be done through me for the highest good of all and for the true manifestation of my purpose. Ooh, I get goosebumps. The fool, the believer, letting this source just be, you know, let it happen. And trusting, once again. You will know the way forward by the still, small voice within. The divine always may answer your call by sending others to help you guide, to help. Oh, the divine also may answer your call by sending others to help guide you. So if you get that unexpected call, or you have that friend or somebody, or family member, somebody that all of a sudden says something or calls you and wants you to invite you, whatever it is, I would accept. I would answer the call. That's an interesting read. Answer the call. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason. There's something that's being divinely gifted. And this is absolutely about your highest power and within yourself, and then the connection as well. The Hierophant. So no coincidences here. And this is beautifully congruent and synchronistic with that energy in the reading. So the runes, one of my favorite divinations, and one I'm not that familiar with, although I've listened and watched people who've studied them for years. I want to be one of those people, and I don't know how long it'll take for me to actually memorize. Sometimes I really think I have it down and then I forget. But luckily for me, I have these beautiful flashcards. So I picked a rune for you. I'll be darned, it happened again. I just got this from the last one, and I did shake it up. And I shook it up before I started the video. You have the blank one, and I'm really kind of excited, because when I first was looking through, I thought, wait a minute, this doesn't have a alphabet on it. It doesn't have a letter on it, darn it, which is what, you know, the runes represent. And then the messages within, and the power and the connection to the mighty source. And look what's right on top, because I just read it. And this pronunciation is weird. And W-Y-R-D. You say weird. The theme is fate. A lot of fate is at play when it's about these eclipses and just what's being shown to us that we need to know to you know, further our path. The rune is number 25, and ironically, it also equals a 7 when you put 2 and 5 together, which is what the well watcher was speaking of. Another beautiful synchronicity. That's 2 7s. 3, and you should go to Vegas, I would imagine, right? Hit a jackpot. So the keywords are wild card, possibility, karma, conceal, unclear, secrecy, and inspiration. Now that is very indicative of this Scorpionic moon. You have to go deep. You're not going to necessarily get these flashy symbols and signs that are going to be very evident at first. You've got to sit with it. And this time of the retrograde would have been absolutely perfect, and still is, as well as a non-retrograde time, because these energies will continue for some time to come. And you will know the answers. You will understand. Magic working, seeking deeper insight, concealment, seeking inspiration, inviting possibilities. Invite the possibilities. Be the fool and say, yes, this is my intention. This is what I choose. And bring it in and be confident, like this Aries energy that'll be with us through next year, with the slow little, it'll come back into, Jupiter will be in Pisces again, the end of October through the end of December, and then back in Mars through May. Take advantage of that energy, that momentum, that fiery ambition. Be prepared for the unexpected, a blank canvas. Anything is possible. Patience, nothing is available right now. Cloak your thoughts, feelings, and intentions. Blank expression. Reveal nothing. Look deeper here. What else is there? The hand of fate. This is phenomenal. I mean, it's so true though, and it's such a personal thing, what it means to you specifically, but I think it's pretty clear. There's some insightful things that are going to be happening if they have not already. And it's all about you and what's going on for you, because it's different for everybody. Allow that, okay? It's really so important for our highest good, you know? So that's what's coming through for you. And I hope that you've liked this reading, and I do apologize again. I would have loved to have had them out sooner. It was out of my control, and I know now when that happens, that's really all I can say. And I will be here in June. I would love to have you come by and check out your June reading. And have a beautiful, beautiful rest of the day. And just trust in the process, boy. Thank you again. Take good care. Bye for now.